Macjon's cooking show. And guess what we're doing today? We're doing Bourbon Street breakfast. You ready? Here we go. We're going to do baked glazed grapefruit with brown sugar and cinnamon. Now, you take your knife, cut right in, you go like this. These little tiny bites. Now, I know, like, when the holidays come, a lot of people give fruit baskets, and you see all the grapefruit, and there's only so many ways you can do things. You can juice them, you can peel them, but I'll tell you what, when it's really cold outside, a baked grapefruit is a wonderful thing. It's really good for you. And I hear, I don't know if this is true or not, but the way I hear that if you want to lose weight, the grapefruit's the way to go. It helps break down the fat, the cholesterol, and besides that, it's healthy. That vitamin C in you, grapefruit's really strong in vitamin C. It helps fight off them colds and them flus that are out there. Now, a lot of people don't think grapefruits are sweet. Well, I'll tell you what, the grapefruits at this time of year right now are like sugar. And if you want to sweeten up your grapefruit, ladies and gentlemen, what you do is you just sit it in the windowsill in the sun, let that sun cook it a little bit, and I'll tell you what, that thing will get like sugar, because the sun has a way of working with fruit and make it sweet. Okay, now I'm cooking off a bunch of these, because I got a big crew out here with this show, and I know I got to keep these boys healthy, because they got to stay on the road. We got to keep doing this, so here we go. Now, we're going to make eggs Benedict today, and I'm going to show you how to make Hollandaise. And I can't tell you how many times in the past people have tried to make Hollandaise, and they're double boiling the thing, and it's not working for them. Well, I had a friend of mine a few years ago, it's a chef, show me a method of making Hollandaise sauce, and I'm going to pass it on to you. Okay, now, I have that there. I'm going to take just a little bit of cinnamon here. I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon over it, okay? Just a tad, not much. And I'm going to take some brown sugar, just a little, not much, you know, just a tad. You don't have to cover it too much. You can omit the sugar if you want, and just bake it with the cinnamon. Now I'm just going to step right over to the oven here. I have the oven set on a broil. I'm going to pop it in, turn the oven on the broil, and just let it go for a while. Now, while we're here, let's get into cracking some eggs. I want to show you something about cracking eggs. When you want to get an egg yolk, best way to do it is like this, into a bowl, and make your life a lot easier. You don't have to worry about cracking them on the edge of the shell. A lot of people go like this, and it takes too much time. Just dump it in. Now, I'm going to go in here with my finger, like this, and pull out my yolks. And we're going to take this here, and we're going to cook it right on this stove and make Hollandaise real quick for you. And it's a beautiful Hollandaise. It'll stand up, it'll hold up to anything. And we're going to do this and time them grapefruits at the same time. All right, I'll put that to the side. Wipe of the hands. Okay, now, I have my yolks. You see them? There's a half a dozen yolks in there. I have a little bit of water. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of water in there, okay? And we're going to mix them up. All right, we're going to mix them together. And the reason why we're going to do this is because we don't want it to break. Now, if you have a gas stove at home, folks, you can work on the gas range with this, but you don't want your flame up too high. We're going directly onto the burner here, okay? Now, the idea is you have to aerate your eggs. The water's going to help aerate the eggs. You notice I have a pot of water boiling in the back. Well, that's for poaching. Now, the old Macjon restaurant, so many people used to come in and they used to get the eggs Benedict and the eggs Macjons. Well, today you're going to see how to make them for yourself. You notice how it's starting to aerate? Let it keep aerating. When you start to get this so it's fluffy, like a cloud, then we're going to start to add our margarine or our clarified butter. But you'll want to add it gradually so it doesn't break down. Now you see how it's starting to grow? It's aerating the water, it's marrying it with the yolk. You just keep going. Don't be afraid. Switch your hand if your hand gets tired. I'm ambidextrous, so it's easier for me. Some people aren't. Turn your pot, if you have to, your little mixing bowl here, so it stays even in uniform heat. And if you notice, folks, there it goes. It's starting to aerate. Now, with electric burners, you got to really be cautious because they hold the heat a little bit more than they do a gas burner. You can, with a gas burner, if it starts to get too hot, you can kick it back. You can pull it off if you have to, and then you can walk back onto it. But it takes a little trick. You got to get used to watching the product. You can't walk away from this, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot. You got to be right on it all the time. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get this back here, the margarine or the clarified butter, whatever you prefer to use. You're going to get it to emulsify with the water and the egg yolk that we aerated together. And we don't want to add too much too fast. Let me give this a stir so it's all uniform. And let me start adding just a tad. I don't want to add too much because it'll start to thicken on me, which it already has. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, if it should break on you, if it should break because you put too much butter, add a little bit of cold water, and it should set it right back up to being right. Now let me get in here and taste that. Look at that. See how it's holding? Okay. That's good. Let me add a little bit of more butter over here. Okay, now come off. I'm going to add a little bit of water in here to cool it down. Okay, now to season it, I'm going to put a splash of Crystal, splash of Worcestershire. Oh, what's this here sauce, sire? That's some lemon juice. Squeeze that lemon juice, get it all out of there. Maybe a little bit more lemon juice. I like that lemon. Lemon's good for you. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you can thin it down with a little bit of water if you think it's too thick. It'll be fine. Some people, if they're doing a certain type of a sauce, they like to add maybe a white wine, a tarragon, vinegar. You could go many directions. You can thin it down with some dill vinegar, oyster water, seafood stock. You can shape this. This is a base sauce. You can take it anywhere. Okay, now, next, we're going to take our English muffins, and I'll pop them in the toaster over here. Save me some time. Wingra, it's down. And while that's toasting over there, I think I'm going to walk over here and just see how our grapefruits are doing. Look at them, aren't they pretty? We'll let them keep going over here. Now, I got water back here that's been boiling. What we're going to do, we're going to add like a teaspoon and a half of salt. Take a little bit of vinegar, put the vinegar in. That's maybe like a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of vinegar. You don't need much, but you should have it. Now, the trick to this is we're going to poach a couple of eggs. Aren't they pretty? Now you slow your water down just a little bit because you don't want them to tumble. You want them to cook. Now while they're working, and while the toast is doing its thing, I'll take this here pan, and I'll take some nice fresh Canadian bacon. Now out here at Tobi Hill Farm, we have some of the most beautiful Canadian bacon I've ever seen. It's wonderful stuff. I really like it. It's really, you can smell the smoke in the air right now. And I don't know about you, when I smell that hickory, I get hungry. Now, the way I used to do this at Macjon's, and this is a secret, I used to take my Cajun seasoning and just put a little touch on everything I did. Okay? So I'm just going to put a little touch of the seasoning in there now. Not much. We don't want to burn anybody out, but we want the flavors in there. Okay, so we let this here cook a little bit, the ham. We just want to warm it up. Now you have to understand that the smoked ham, it's already pre-cooked. You know, all you want to do is you just want to put some heat back into it. You don't want to have to cook it too hard. Now the thing about poaching an egg also is you want to get it so the egg yolk is still runny inside. Oh, but there's a preference. Some people don't like it runny, but for me, I want to keep it runny inside, but you want the whites cooked. Okay? Now, let's go over and check our oven and see how our grapefruit's doing. They're looking real good. Looking real good. Okay, let's get this thing up all the way. Okay. Get some more heat into them. Check my toaster over here. We're doing good. Bing-a-bing. Okay. Take our Canadian bacon, put it right here like this. Go into the water. We'll pull up our eggs, poached eggs. These are beautiful. One right here. One right there. Stay, bad boy. Don't you go anywhere. Go into our Hollandaise sauce. Okay? See the Hollandaise? Now watch. It doesn't take much. A little bit there. A little bit there. And there you go. Eggs Benedict. Okay? Now, I'll put this over here for right now. Push that over there because I want to show you something. Put that. Make some room here. Now we got it. This is what I want. Oh boy. Look at these pretty guys, huh? Right there. Okay. And that's it. And maybe a little touch of the Cajun seasoning on top. And that's it. Okay. We're going to go to a word from our sponsors. I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to show you the second half of this show. Later. Okay, thanks for tuning back in. Now let's do the second half of this here show. People that I see on the street, they say to me, Macjon, will you make us eggs, Macjon, on the show? Okay, so here it is. You throw in some butter, you let it brown. You throw in some onion, and then some steak meat. It can be roast beef, sandwich meat that you have left over. It could be ground beef. It could be any kind of meat you want. I happen to be spoiled. I'm using tenderloin today. Okay, while that's cooking, you got the butter, the steak, and the onions working. I put a little bit of the Cajun seasoning in there, okay? Let that work. While that's doing, I took the time to boil out some potatoes. You boil them whole, folks, okay? The secret to eggs, Macjon, is I leave the skin on. I leave them on because I want the iron. I want the nutrition and the value, okay? You take the potato, throw the potatoes right into there. Let them cook. Don't be afraid of them. Some more potato. All right. Put that in there. Let's give it some more heat. Swish it around a bit. Let it cook. I think I'm going to hit it with a little bit more of my Cajun seasoning here. I got it packed into the cork was pushed into this top over here, and it's got it all compressed on me. Okay. Flip this bad boy around a bit. I just heard my toast pop. Okay, good. Now while this here is getting hot, okay, this dish, folks, is one of the best breakfast dishes, and with the holidays coming up, you know, you have the family home, this is the winner. You have a little bit of meat left over, you got a lot of potatoes, marry them together with some onions, poach a few eggs, put it on top in the Hollandaise. I just told you what we're doing. You ready? Now, we poached eggs earlier. My water's hot. Eggs are in. I'm gonna get real courageous in this pot, and I'm gonna do 4 eggs. Check this out. And they said it couldn't be done. Okay. Let these keep cooking. Don't be afraid to let them cook. You have plenty of butter in there. Now, when you burnt the butter, when you like brown your butter, it puts out a different flavor. It's a really good flavor, and it adds to the whole essence of the dish. So don't be afraid to let your butter get brown, then put your meat and your onions and your potatoes in. It broadens the flavor, and that's what you want. It's the difference between doing it and not doing it. Okay, now, let me step over here and get some of my muffins. Put these guys here. Over here. Come on, eggs. We're waiting over here. Get my potatoes out here. People love this stuff. I can't tell you how many people I see on the streets asking me about this dish, to do it on the show. Well, guess what? You got it. And the holidays are here, and I'm happy to get it done by the holidays. Okay, let me get my work closer. Try to find my first egg. Here we go. Make a little cradle for it, put it in here. Little cradle, put it there. Another one in here. Right there. Now we'll get our Hollandaise. Telling you folks, we put this on the table and see what happens. A little bit of a Cajun seasoning over it, give it some flavor. Okay, you've got it. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Macjon Cooking Show. I want to tell you thanks very much for everything. The Thanksgiving show was great. I got a lot of response, sold a lot of turkeys. I'll see ya later.